Well, here it is, the big, beautiful Wimbledon draw. But it's maybe it's not my best. Not one of my best draws, my picks this year. There have been a lot of upsets. Not just upsets with the seeds, but just upsets with my poor choices in making the draw. But of course, we will get to that in today's show. But first, put this guy up on the screen. Look at this big, beautiful man, Marin Cilic. Don't forget about him. You know, Jack Draper had just been elevated, just recently elevated to a contender to win slams. Second tier. He's been put in this second tier where, of course, you have Sinner and Alcaraz as the top tier favorites. And then second tier favorites, I had heard towards the end of the French Open, maybe after the final, I heard some analysts saying going into Wimbledon, you can almost put Djokovic and Draper right there at the top of the second tier likely champions here. They have an equal chance of winning the Wimbledons. Well, now they do not. So I put this up on the screen because look at this. Cilic is one of 5 Grand Slam champions in the gentleman's singles draw. Of course, he won 2014 U.S. Open against Nishikaishi. We thought after the big three were gone, mostly gone. Obviously, Djokovic is still here. But we thought in this era, we'd start seeing some more champions, guys that didn't have a chance to win before. But Alcaraz and Sinner have moved in so fast that it still looks like we're in the middle of the big 3 years with almost no one except guys like, Cilic having Grand Slam champions outside of your big 3 favorites. So Draper is out, and this is a part of it. Take a look at this. Draper's ground strokes. He's been able to dictate with the forehand throughout the tournament. Today against Cilic, dropped that number from 67% of the time he's hitting forehands to 33% of the match he's only hitting forehands. I was in the early in the second set, so I'm sure that number got better. But you can see from this graphic right here, Cilic did a good job of, he's a lefty, so that right corner is his backhand for Draper. Cilic did a good job of targeting that backhand and not letting Draper dictate with his forehand. He did a lot of things really well today, Cilic. But like I said, there's a lot of upsets, and take a look at this. This one's from the Sports Mosquito. 4 years ago, Stefanos Tsitsipas said Alexander Zverev, Danny Medvedev, and he himself could be the next big 3. And now they all are out in the first round of Wimbledon. Which, the upsets can be exciting. It can be exciting, but not too much upsets. And take a look at this, also from the Sports Mosquito. Some fans are upset about too many upsets. Most pathetic top 5 player ever. Fans are sick of Alexander Zverev choking in back-to-back slams with shock Wimbledon loss. How many of these fans are gamblers that are sore about losing their money? I do wonder that myself. Most pathetic top 5 player ever. Fans are sick of Alexander Zverev's. Okay, it's the same thing, but it doesn't hurt to read it again. So Zverev is out, of course. Let's go over to Medvedev, though, because Medvedev is out. And, at least Tsitsipas was injured. He's got an excuse. Musetti injured, has got an excuse, not 100%. Holger Rune has got a decent excuse. Medvedev didn't have a good excuse, but he had a hilarious line. One of the funniest things I've heard in a while. We'll play the clip for you, but first, it's in French. I love when he's upset, he switches to French. But take a look at this. In French, he said, "Why not play like this every day?" This is the middle of the match. In the middle of the match, he says, "Why not play like this every day and be rich? No, you decide to do it only once a year." Of course, because he got upset by a lower-ranked player. Take a look.
Pourquoi pas jouer comme ça chaque jour, gagner des millions et tout? Non, il décide de faire ça une fois par an. Pourquoi pas jouer comme ça chaque jour, gagner des millions et tout? Non, il décide de faire ça une fois par an.
Middle of the match, he's like, "Hey, low-ranked guy, why don't you play like this all the time? You'll be a multimillionaire." But now you just want to do it once a year and ruin my Wimbledon, says Medvedev in so many words. Anyways, we go to this ATP World Tour memes. This is pretty hilarious. Who lost in the opening round of Wimbledon? This guy, a BS Russian and a small kid out in the first round of Wimbledon. Basilashvili took out Musetti. Basilashvili went down today, unfortunately for him, but he did take out Musetti in the first round. And like I said before, at least Musetti has an excuse. Rinder Kaneshi, who took out Zverev, I was so close to picking the upset. I said my draw, it's okay. I got out of the third round results, in the top half of the draw, I have 7 out of 16 results. It's pretty weak for me. And in the bottom half, I have 6. But I'm confident my final 4 semifinals will be correct. If I have most of the quarters and all the semifinalists, I don't feel too bad. I did good, actually. Ironically, after the first round, I did pretty good. It was in the second round where things went horribly wrong. But I almost picked Fritz to lose to Mpetshi Perricard. It's always rough doing tournaments, going right into Wimbledon. He had one day off, one travel day to get over to Wimbledon. So I thought, and Mpetshi Perricard with a huge serve first round, that could be really tough. I ultimately said, you know what? I think Fritz is ready to handle this and is actually going to have a really good run here. So luckily for me, he did win. And then I was really close to picking Zverev going out to Arthur Rinderknecht in the first round. I was close, but then I just said, you know what? I'm going to go with Zverev on this one. Big mistake, but this is why I didn't do that. Look at this. Rinderknecht has a 1-16 career record against top 10 opponents. His only win came at Queen's Club this year against Shelton. And of course, I remember when I first started thinking, man, this guy's got a lot of game, and on a good day he could beat anyone. He beat Sinner years ago before Sinner was in the top 10, but Sinner was getting hotter and hotter and building up on his confidence and really starting to take off like a rocket ship. And I remember seeing this guy take him out at one tournament. Anyways, Holger Rune out, but he had an injury. His knee's bothering him. You get lower at Wimbledon. He says, getting low at Wimbledon aggravates the knee. So it makes sense. He could go up 2 sets and then lose because, the knee had kind of had enough. 7-5 in the third. After that, it gets easier. Take a look at this. This is what Fritz had to go through. This is pretty amazing. It just goes to show you why that pick is not bad at all, Perricard, because I knew, in a match like that, he just has to serve great, and even if Fritz plays pretty well, he could still lose. And take a look how close that was. I think Fritz was down 6-1 or 5-1 in that fourth set tiebreaker too. And Mpetshi Perricard had a ball he could have toasted him on and missed. Happens so often when you blow a lead, you always hit a shot into the top of the net that would have won it for you or something. Anyways, take a look at this. Fritz, first set, 2 errors. Second set, 3 unforced errors. Third set, 3. Fourth set, also 3 unforced errors. Look at Mpetshi Perricard, 8, 17, 7, and 20 unforced errors in that fourth set. Kind of funny because Fritz wins the third set, the set with the least amount of unforced errors for Perricard. And Perricard, I guess if he hits 20, he can't win the set. He can win a set with 17 unforced errors, but he can't do it with 20. So that just goes to show you how it can be so tough, even if you play well, when you have that pressure of playing a guy where you're probably not going to break the whole match, maybe once or twice. Anyways, take a look at this. We also almost had the biggest upset of the whole year. Fabio Fognini in his last match ever at Wimbledon, although maybe he'll change his mind and want to come back next year after this match. But, of course, just builds on the legend of Carlos Alcaraz. Look at his record. Yeah, it's in French, but you get the idea. Look at his record in 5-set matches. He has only lost once, and, of course, that was to Berrettini. I can't remember where, but it would make sense for it to be here. Let's go to some more video because this is hilarious. Speaking of Alcaraz, Fognini did something, one of the coolest things I've ever seen at Wimbledon. He didn't win, but he did this. They're waving goodbye. Baby Fognini waves goodbye. Fognini waves goodbye. Carlos waves goodbye. And Fognini waves goodbye to the tournament by throwing his shoes into the crowd. That was awesome. Put this on the screen. Here you go. It's not just those guys. It's a lot of seeds. I heard somewhere this is the most seeds we've seen out this early in Wimbledon in I don't know, freaking 80, 100 years or something like that. Or maybe it was just the open era. But it's been a long time since we've seen something like this. You can see just the pure carnage there. Bublik, another guy I had going pretty deep in the draw who messed me up. He goes out pretty fast in the first round. And I later found out it's no surprise because he didn't even know what the score was.
What's the score? Good. You say 2?
And then, of course, that brings us to Tiafoe. Francis Tiafoe also out in the second round to Scam Nori. Take a look at that. Another one where I got screwed. I felt bad for savaging Tiafoe in the French Open so much that I picked him against Cam Nori, although I was very tempted to pick Cam Nori, and I wish I had. And he has burned me. I will never pick Tiafoe to beat a player who has been in the top 10 before ever again, I don't think. So very upset about that. And even if we look at the guys, sometimes Wimbledon's so different than the other surfaces that we play at. Even if we look at the guys who, it's not just their seed, but it's their experience on grass. Even they have gone out. Look at our top 5 highest win percentages of active players at Wimbledon. Berrettini, 5th place, is out. Medvedev, 4th place, is out. Only these new big three, one old big one in the big three, Djokovic, and the new ones, Sinner and Alcaraz, only these three remain. And you can clearly see there's two guys who are far ahead of number 3, 4, and 5, with Sinner being 76.5%. When Alcaraz at 90, that's only 20 matches. I guess he's probably got more since then, but not much more. And Djokovic with well over 100 matches, and he's at 89%. So let's just call that a tie for now. And it goes back to what I was saying at the French Open. I'm feeling really good after what I saw from Djokovic at the French, for him to go from his worst surface to his best surface. And I'm not alone, because take a listen to this. Matt Svilander says, I expect Novak Djokovic to play as well or maybe better at Wimbledon than he did at the French. Let's be honest, when he's had to play great, he's played great in all 3 majors this year. And suddenly he goes to his favorite surface, most probably his favorite tournament. He's so good when the grass is green. Novak, because the balance in his feet is incredible, he just plays so smart. I am expecting huge things from Novak Djokovic. And guess what, folks? I am expecting huge things from Novak Djokovic as well. And how huge it will be for him will be revealed in today's Draw Show. That's right. It's a total seed annihilation. Seed sacrificing has been happening at this year's SW19 Wimbledon Championships. The Championships Wimbledon. Yeah. So Draper's out of our top 9 seeds. We've just got my semifinalist picks. So how about that? Of course, Fritz, Joker, Sinner, Alcaraz. Go back to this one, because there's a few more guys out since this has happened, right? Of course, Draper on the top line is out. The top 8 there. The Demon is still around. Who's that? Number 12? Is that TFO? He's out. 13, Tommy Paul. He's out. Rublev's still around. Is that Minsick? Number 15? Who is that? He's out. 17. I'll just keep saying he's out. Kachanov's around. Grigor Dimitrov looks great. Grigor Dimitrov looked like Federer resurrected at Wimbledon. I'll show you stats from his first round match. It was a masterpiece. Mpetshi, he's gone. Kaboli, he's still around. 13, Yuri Leheshka. What the Leheka? He's out. He's out. He's got gout and he's out. He's toast. Is that freaking FAA? I was so close to picking Jan-Lennard Struff. I should have, but I didn't. Yeah, sometimes I feel bad for saying these guys are losers, basically. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? FAA is so talented. He's good on grass. He'll get some wins here. He's out. Who is that? Number 26? I can't even tell whose face that is. 27 and 28. They're out. You're out. Nakashima, I think, is still in. 30 seed, 31 seed, 32 seed. All those losers are out. Let's look at Yoshihito Nishioka, who's a good player. He played Grigor Dimitrov in the first round. Grigor Dimitrov had 26 aces against 1. You can't do much when you hit 1 ace and your opponent hits 26. Only 3 doubles. Winning 95% of the... I said these are like Roger Federer numbers in a first round. 95% on the first serve, 50 on the second, 19 for 21, almost perfect in 21 trips to the net. 49 winners on 23 unforced errors. 92 to 62 points won. That is total annihilation. It was awesome to watch Mr. Grigor Dimitrov resurrect the game of Roger Federer. Zverev. Do we want to listen to Zverev talking about how depressed he is and these mental struggles are going on? I don't feel like it right now. Let's go into the draw. Let's go into my draw. After that first round, I was feeling pretty good. Pretty good. But not good enough. Well, let's look at the actual Mr. Wimbledon's draw. So, where are we at? Let's go with the top half. Flip it around. Top half. Of course, I had Sinner. I had Vukic. I had him beating Vukic. That was good. I had Sinner going through Shapo in the third round. That is not going to happen. It's going to be Pedro Martinez, who I did have going into the second. Of course, I would have gave him a chance, but yeah, Shapo I had. Shapo did not come through. Sinner will win that. So fourth round will be correct for me. I do have Grigor. I had TP, Tommy Paul. Tommy Paul's injured. I don't feel too bad about messing that one up. So this would be a perfect section. I had Tommy Paul beating Grigor. If Tommy Paul was healthy, I think he would be Grigor, but I would give Grigor a good chance, especially after seeing how well he's played, to kick things off. Also had a good match, winning 7-5, 4-6, 7-5, 7-5. A lot of sevens in there, but he got the win over Mute. Mute can definitely be tricky anywhere you play him, but on grass, things can get even trickier with a fellow like Mr. Mute. Ben Shelton is going to beat Rinky Dinky Hijikata. That was kind of a shame the way that one was going today because both players wanted to stop going into, what was their score as they left it? I cannot recall. But I think Shelton had won the first couple sets, pretty easy. The tournament is thinking, let's get this done. Shelton can win. Shelton's saying, look, there's a good chance we won't finish this set and the court's getting wetter and more slippery. And they're like, just play. And then Shelton, he can blast some winners, but Hijikata, he's got to use his movement a little more. He's got to play a little more defense than what Shelton's going to be doing out there at Wimbledon. And since the grass was kind of wet and slippery, and it only gets worse as you go later into the evening, and the humidity goes up higher too, as that happens, it hurts Hijikata more because he's the one that really needs movement to bail him out, right? It really his only chance, the way things were going, is to just get to everything and make a lot of balls, and hopefully you can throw Shelton off, make him play a little, work him a little more. Maybe he'll start missing more, something like that. Anyways, they almost finished. I think Shelton was like up 5-4 about the serve for the match, and then they're like, okay, now we'll stop. And Shelton went nuts. That's hilarious. I went horribly wrong here now. I had Hugo Humbert beating Monfils. It looked like he would early in the match, but they got flipped on him. I had Hugo Humbert beating Fucsovics, and I now think after Monfils had a chance to finish that 1-4, they got to come back tomorrow and play in 5. Monfils was looking really dead towards the end. Fucsovics is such a fit player. I think Fucsovics is probably going to win when they come back tomorrow. But either way, I had Ugo coming through, so wrong. Below there, I had Nakashima losing to Opelka. Nakashima beat Opelka in 4 sets. At least Riley fought back in the 3rd set. But yeah, big man was probably pretty tired. Didn't see that match, but I've been watching most of the match. I've seen a lot of Wimbledon this week, so I'm very up to speed on what's going on. Basilashvili, I'm totally wrong in this section. Where are we at? Okay, so I had Musetti coming through. I was thinking about how people criticized Federer that last year he played the French Open. I guess 2019 it would have been, maybe. Anyways, he had like a little tweak or something after he beat maybe Cilic. They had like a long match. And Federer was like, all right, I'm shutting it down. I tweaked something. Wimbledon's my priority. I'm pulling out of the tournament. And some people are like, that's terrible for the tournament. What a disgrace. How could Federer do that to the French Open? Now they're missing out on a quarterfinal or round of 16, whatever round he pulled out of. And we see these guys like Musetti now. And who else? Who else wasn't quite healthy after? Oh, Tommy Paul. Tommy Paul, Musetti, great French Open runs. And they tweak something, and you think these guys are in their 20s. They're super fit. They're so dedicated to their fitness, And you think these guys surely can get their bodies working well enough to get out of a first round or 2 in the case of Tommy Paul, Surely Lorenzo Musetti could have came through Basilashvili, but he couldn't get the body healthy enough in time for the grass. So that just makes me remember that when people criticize Federer, and it's like, yeah, come on. He was almost 40 years old at the time. It's like, yeah, don't give him any crap about that one. He's earned the right to pull out of the French Open to give the tennis world what they really want, where he can actually do some damage and maybe win one more Wimbledon. So yeah, like at that age, of course he should pull out of the tournament that he has no shot at winning and focus in on the one where he could. Because even these guys in their 20s who are super fit can't get their bodies healthy enough in just a couple of weeks. It really is a tough turnaround. And if Alcaraz can win the French the way he did and then come here and win Wimbledon again. It's just, guy's amazing. Where are we at? Basilashvili comes through. Sonego. Did I have Sonego losing, Mr. Sonego? Doesn't matter. My draws at this point, it's just destroyed. Let's go down further. I thought about picking Draper to lose. I thought about it, and I did have him losing kind of early. A lot of people were putting Draper pretty far, and I thought Cilic could do it. I definitely had Cilic winning his first round, and I had Bublik taking out Draper in the third round with the upset there. But, of course, Bublik lost right away as fast as he could. Unbelievable. I had Kaboli into the third round. Okay. I had Minchik. I got this part. This part is perfect. I have Minchik beating Kaboli. We'll see if that happens. Mr. Demon. I had the Demon. And I had Quentin Halys. Doesn't matter. I think Demon's going to... This guy, August Holmgren. Have you ever seen anyone with a Abercrombie and Fitch sticker on their shirt? A patch, I mean. This guy, I've never heard of him before. No one has. He's like 200 in the world. He comes in here qualifying. The guy's been going around losing in challengers like first round all year long. And now he's in the third round. He's equaled his prize money. His whole career's prize money is a little less than what he's made here by making the third round. He's going to lose to Demon, but he's got a one-handed backhand. Pretty big serve. Like, you know, makes you wonder, like, man, how's this guy hanging out at 200 in the world, losing all the time? Like, he's got a lot to like in his game. I guess the one-hander would probably be, maybe you could argue that one-hander is a liability. To me, it looks really simple and compact, but it doesn't look like, it's no Richard Gasquet. It's no Federer one-hander. It's definitely no Stan Wawrinka. But it's solid enough, and big serve, big forehand, and the guy is just playing like he would never have another chance to be in the third round of Wimbledon in his life, and he might be correct. I hope not, though, because the guy was fun to watch, and like I said, he's got Abercrombie and Fitch patch on his shirt because he looks like a male model. It's kind of late tonight. I had to do a lot today and squeeze all this stuff in together, so I'll show you pictures of this male model later. Maybe after Demon beats him in a couple days, we'll look at pictures of Holmgren together. I do have Joker, of course, beating Dirty Dan. And I had Mr. Mickelson in the third round. Instead, it's Kecmanovic. Who did... man, Eubanks almost won. I had Eubanks winning that first round. He almost did it, but not quite. Let's go to the bottom half of the draw. It was hard for me to pick Taylor Fritz to go all the way to the semifinals, but that is what I have done. I'll even give him, if Alcaraz can't get his stuff together and is not serving well by the time he gets to the semis, I'd give Fritz a puncher's chance to get to the finals. Somebody's laughing at me saying that's insane. You're crazy. Anyways, I picked Fritz over Mpetshi Perricard. You see a star there because if I put a star there, it's a match to watch, and it's a match where I think there could be an upset often. I thought there was a good shot. El Diablo, big server also. Skinny Canadian guy with a really big serve. Good match there, but Fritz comes through those two guys. I had the Boatman. I had ADF, Alejandro Davidovich Fokina. I had him losing to the Boatman. The Boatman was pretty upset. I think if he could have kept playing, they went lights out. It got too dark. And Davidovich was like, okay, let's go home. And the Boatman was like, hey, come on, I got the momentum. And they wouldn't let him play. And so he had to come back the next day and play. I think it was like 5-5 or something. They were close to the tiebreak already. And he lost. Anyways, I have Fritz coming through to the fourth round. I think he'll still do that. Davidovich, Fokina, Boatman, doesn't matter. I don't think I picked this Ferry guy. Oh, okay, yeah, you can see on my draw, I filled this out on Monday. So a few matches were already finished. And I was honest. I put an X next to this one because there's no way I would have picked a Ferry, whoever the hell he is. No way I would have picked a Ferry to beat a Popperin. No chance. I did have Who You Foolin' Safulin, and he lost. Great pick. Great pick, Matt. It was Dartery. And then I had Safulin in the third round. It's Dartery. I have Jordan Thompson Tomo in the third round. I have him winning through Dartery and losing to Fritz to go into the quarterfinals with Mr. Fritz. So that looks pretty good to me. I think I did all right with that. I had this Billy Harris guy winning. I would not have picked Nuno Borges. I was going to go with Francisco Cerundolo. And there's a couple Harrises that I picked and was wrong on. I would pick Billy Harris. I'm sorry. I was going to pick Billy Harris. Just looking at his record on grass and his year, I thought he could handle Duzi Lajovic. Zeppieri and Mochizuki. Did I get that right? It looks like I got it right and put an X. Maybe my record's better than I thought. Doesn't matter. I had Harris and Kachanov's Harris and Borge. I have Khachanov going through to play Zverev. Zverev has got to be feeling pretty bad right now. I think he's kind of depressed. Rinderknecht I almost picked. So if I would have picked Rinderknecht with the upset, which I really seriously considered, I would have had him going through, probably losing to Berrettini in this third round. But of course, Berrettini, teeny weeny Berrettini is not there. Let's go down further. Nicholas Yari. I'm sorry, Yari. Did I pick him? X. I was going to pick Holger Rune. I put an X there, even though I filled it out late. I was honest. Leonard Tien is correct on that one. Yo-Yo Fonseca, I picked him. Greek Spore, I mean, he's like old faithful for me. I always pick him, even though Jensen Brooksby's is good on the grass. So this section is just jacked up for me. Like, I've got the fourth round looking good. I got Fritz, I got Jordan Thompson, I got Khachanov, and then Zverev, he's out. Rune, he's out. Lehechka, he's out. Tiafoe, God. I wanted to pick him to get upset so bad. I had him in the first round, and I thought he might lose to Cam Norrie, but I was like, let's give him one more round. Lehechka is going to take him out, and Lehechka and Tiafoe are both out, ruining my section. I should have picked Scam Norrie. I might have even picked Scam Norrie over at Lehechka. I had Rublev. I had Lloyd Harris coming through. I thought Lloyd Harris would beat Rublev, but what actually happened? He won the first set in a tiebreak, and I was thinking, oh, yeah, Matt, you got another great pick. Another great pick. Hit the music because we got to get out of here. It's getting late. Another great pick, and then he loses 3 sets in a row after that. I did have Mannarino going pretty far, actually, so I feel good about that pick. I had Mannarino going all the way to the fourth round, which I could see happening. Rublev's definitely got a shot, but Mannarino's tough to play on grass. So I like my odds, my chances of getting Mannarino into that fourth round. And then another one where I was thinking, Felix Auger, I should probably pick Struff. Struff has just been so bad lately. Not winning anything, but he's got a big game, can play well in grass, got good volleys. And I went with FAA for some reason. So we got Struff and Carlos. Doesn't matter because Carlos will win. I think Carlos will have Mannarino, and he'll beat him. Let's look at the rest of my draw. I have Carlos beating Taylor Fritz in the semis. I think that'll happen. I have Djokovic beating Sinner in the semis. I have Djokovic as the champion of this tournament. Some of that is just, that's what I hope for. I'd love for him to seal the deal on 25 slams, an all-time record. And I really think he can do it here, and I really think that this could be his last chance to win any majors for the rest of his career. So I'm hoping he will do it. Do I really think he's going to beat Alcaraz in the final? Right now, I'm kind of 50-50 on that. I think it's possible, but I got to see more, and we got to see what Alcaraz does with his serving. Anyways, we will probably not be back tomorrow. It's the 4th of July, and I've got a lot going on for tomorrow. But there is a chance we will come back tomorrow. If not, enjoy the 4th of July, and I will do my best to do a video every day that we have men's matches for the rest of the Wimbledons. I think I can do it. Comment below if you think I can do it too, or if at least you think it sounds like a nice idea. See ya!